What's poppin', all stars? Welcome back to my channel. It's DAMNSHEJAMAICAN, your biggest and brightest shining star. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Saturn in Aries / Saturn in the first house. So if you have Saturn in the first house but not in the sign of Aries, please go down into the description to find the timestamp and just skip forward. Okay, so Saturn represents boundaries, restrictions, limitations. It also represents discipline and hard work. It's the father of time, and it represents karma. So Saturn is seen sometimes as a very depressing planet because it doesn't reflect the sunlight of the sun. And also, while Jupiter in the birth chart represents expansion, Saturn represents contraction. So Saturn also represents, so Saturn essentially is that energy in our life that makes us take life seriously, and it makes us work very hard. And a lot of times the energy that we have in Saturn can seem, like I said, as a limitation, but throughout time and over time, working on these energies, working on these traits, this could be our greatest asset once we get to understand what it means to really understand Saturn's energy. So if you have Saturn in the sign of Aries, this means that Saturn is in its fall because Saturn is exalted in the opposite sign of Libra. So that's the sign that Saturn really loves to be in. Now, if you have Saturn in Aries, I personally have this placement so I can understand this energy. If you have Saturn in Aries, this means that you're the type of person that really wants to express Aries type qualities, but these traits can come over time, and it may be something that you need to really work hard on in order to understand and hone in as your own personal skills. So having Saturn in Aries, you may be the type of person that struggles with confidence, struggles with asserting yourself, struggles with becoming a leader. You may be the type of person that wants to be an entrepreneur. You may want to, start your own business, do a lot of things, but you may find that it's a challenge for you to do so. Saturn in Aries depicts a person that spends a lot of their time working by themselves, and this may cause a lot of struggle because it's very hard for you to work by yourself when it comes to projects and stuff. So throughout life, you're going to see, having Saturn in Aries, that it takes a lot of courage and confidence and really getting to know who you are for you to be that strong, independent entrepreneur that you want to be. Having Saturn in Aries, you could definitely face a lot of trouble in your life when it comes to expressing yourself, being creative. You may be the type of person that wants to be very creative, like I said, have your own, start your own projects, and whatever house it may be in. These traits can come slowly over time, and it may seem like it's very hard for you to access this energy. Having Saturn in Aries, you may find that you are the type of person that have a lot of troubles with starting something and accomplishing it. You may start new projects over and over, and you may not be satisfied with how you express yourself. For example, this is the second time that I filmed this video. So having Saturn in Aries is going to be a challenge for you to be able to learn to believe in yourself and rely on yourself. And I know that it may sound like a very bad thing, but like I said, with Saturn, it's the planet of karma. So the more work you put into asserting yourself and believing in yourself and being confident, the better it will be once Saturn returns back into its sign. And it takes about 28 to 30 years for Saturn to go back into the sign that you were born in, and that is called a Saturn return. So by the age of 28 to 30, Saturn in Aries people, this is where you will gain most of your confidence. A lot of the things that you notice that you've been trying to work on for your entire life that you seem very hard to accomplish, you will notice that it starts to come as the older you get. Saturn in the sign of Aries really wants to teach you discipline. It wants to teach you how to discipline even your body and the self, because Aries represents the self and the head. So a lot of your thoughts, how you view yourself, I feel like Saturn in Aries, it's very important for you to have a very strong daily routine. It's very important for you to structure who you are and how you want to show up into the world. It's very important for you on your evolutionary growth, for you to understand who you are. And so Saturn is going to give you a lot of trials in life for you to understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Sometimes having Saturn in Aries, like I said, Saturn is about restriction and limitation. So this energy is going to make it feel like it's hard for you, like I said, to express yourself sometimes. And Aries is a creative sign, and it's a very spiritual sign. So having Saturn in Aries, sometimes you may lack assertiveness. You may lack just the confidence to do whatever it is that you want to do. But just know that it's all in your mind. And it really just takes for you to get out of your mind and put in the work and just try and fail multiple times for you to just get comfortable with putting yourself out there and being assertive. This is a very strong placement, and like I said, Saturn gets better with time. So if you keep working on this energy, I know a lot of people say, oh, they think that Saturn won't grant them these abilities until they're 30 years old, but that's not necessarily true. Once you understand what Saturn represents in the birth chart, you understand that it's something that you need to work on. So over time, you'll be able to gain more confidence in yourself the more you understand what Saturn is trying to teach you. So you'll be able to be more assertive. You'll be able to accomplish your goals the more and more you just work on believing in yourself. And that's pretty much what it comes down to when it comes to having Saturn in Aries. Another thing I would like to touch on with Saturn in Aries as a physical sign, that Aries is a very masculine sign. Saturn in Aries is going to allow for you to be very strong, and it's going to allow for you to pick yourself back up when you fail. So just understand that you're going to be able to do a lot of things on your own. And it may seem, this is why Saturn is exalted in the sign of Libra, because Saturn likes to work with other people. Saturn likes balance. Saturn likes to cooperate and communicate. But with the sign of Aries, Aries is all about the self. It's a very selfish sign. So Saturn doesn't necessarily like to be in that sign. And it falls here because when you're trying to work on something, they say teamwork makes the dream work. But as you can see, as a person like me, as an example, a lot of my business is just me. I'm self-employed. I'm all on my own. And that's just kind of how my life has evolved. And it has taken me a while to realize that this is just what it is. And I have to learn how to accomplish my goals, whether or not I have another person to help me. So that's why this placement is in fall, because it seems like the weight of the world is all on your shoulders, and it's very hard for you to be confident. You don't have a lot of people in the background telling you, cheering you on when you have Saturn in Aries. You are more so your own cheerleader, and you need to believe in yourself and just take responsibility for the things that you want to do, and don't look for outside, people to tell you what to do. Or we already don't like that when we have Saturn in Aries, but it's much more difficult, for us to listen to other people. But I think that pulling from the Libra energy, it's important to understand to take advice, but know what to take and what to leave. So sometimes if you have Saturn in Aries, this could be a placement that it's very difficult for you to basically, work with others. But it's important as well for you to take advice from other people. you know, just to create that sense of balance so that you're not necessarily always doing things on your own without getting somewhat of an input. But once you get that input and you hear other people's different opinions, believe in yourself enough to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So take what works for you and leave the rest. And that's the overall thing with having Saturn in Aries. It just all comes down to believing in yourself and knowing that throughout time your confidence will grow. The more you work on what it is that you want to work on in life, the stronger you will become. Now, if you have Saturn in the first house, Saturn is about restrictions. Like I said, it's about limitations. So the first house represents the self. It represents our personal relationships and just the overall individuality that we have and our personality, the relationship we have with ourselves. So if you have Saturn in the first house, this is a very, like I said, contracting energy. So you may be the type of person that's very reserved. You may not like to socialize a lot, and when you do, you still can come off as very cold and calculating to a certain degree. You may be the type of person that don't necessarily like to jump head fast into relationships. Having Saturn in the first house, you're not going to be as impulsive to, you know, associate yourself with people. And sometimes when you're around people, you can be very reserved. You know, you could be one of those people that have a very strong and reserved kind of way about you. Your aura could kind of seem like you know, you're very you're calculating. So even certain things that you're into, you like to think about it for a very long time. You're not the type of person, whenever you want to put out a project or whenever you want to do something personal in your life, it's going to take a while for you to, you know, share that with the world and be confident. I notice people with Saturn in the first house are the type of people that have a very strict routine when it comes to how they express themselves, whether it could be working out or however they show up in their lives and their friendships. They're the type of people, they're not all, you know, because the first house also represents, you know, your ascendant and just how you come out into the world. So these kind of people are very restricting. They're not the type of people that are gonna be friends with everybody. You know, they definitely pick and choose who they want to share their energy with. And like I said, these are the type of people that physically they can seem very strong. You know, they may have a very domineering aura, or they just may have a very determined outlook on who they are and how they do things. Saturn is a very serious planet, so sometimes these people can, you know, not seem as happy all the time because Saturn can seem as very depressing. These people are very hardworking people and they push themselves to work very hard. They're very critical about themselves and the personal, you know, anything that has to deal with their personal life. These are the type of people that, you know, they don't necessarily like for a lot of people to be in their business, and they keep a lot to themselves, and they just may have this overall aura that shows that, you know, they don't take nonsense and that they're very hardworking. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about Saturn. Just remember that throughout time, this placement gets better, and it is in its fall, so this is going to be a very challenging placement for Saturn. Saturn is already a very challenging planet to deal with in the birth chart. Like I said, it doesn't reflect sunlight, so it deals with a lot of darkness, it deals with secretness, and so sometimes that's why Saturn is depicted as the devil in mythology, just because a lot of things that comes with Saturn is not so mainstream. Saturn is a very, very cold planet, and it doesn't care about frivolous things. It only cares about your hard work and what it is that you have to show and prove. It only cares about the fruits of your labor. That's pretty much what hard work and putting in time. Saturn only cares about the results that you're going to produce. So in my opinion, like for example, Saturn only cares that I upload this video and that I get it out to you guys. It doesn't care about anything else. It just cares that I work and that I accomplish my goals, and I keep working and accomplishing my goals. Saturn is about, you know, when working and accomplishing your goals, and that is how you get to that other side of happiness, of fulfillment. You know, there could be a lot of people could sit back and dream and think about all the things they want to do, but if you don't put in that work to get it, you won't necessarily get that fulfillment that you want out of life. So that's why when you become the age of 30 and you start to, you know, put in that work and really hone in and understand who you are, that's how this energy becomes to get much easier for you. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you need a natal chart reading, please go ahead and email me directly. Also, you can subscribe to my Patreon. On my Patreon, I create short blogs for you guys to read about each of your natal placements. So if you want to learn more information about your birth chart, I would highly suggest you subscribe to my Patreon. I also answer questions on there for you guys. You can talk to me directly through my Patreon. I love to read and write, and so I thought it would be very cool for me to create a blog version of my videos. So yeah, you'll get more information on my Patreon. I would love to see you guys over there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and comment down below. Add something to the video. Add what your experience is like having Saturn in Aries. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Mwah. Peace.